Imagine waking up in the heart of Marrakech, and by midday, you're sipping tea in a remote Berber village, surrounded by the breathtaking peaks of the Atlas Mountains. This was my day, an unforgettable journey through Morocco's wild beauty and rich culture. The journey began early in the morning as we left the lively streets of Marrakech and headed toward the Atlas Mountains. Almost immediately, the landscape transformed. Flat city roads gave way to rolling hills, then to rugged mountain passes that seemed to stretch endlessly into the horizon. Our first stop? A camel ride, well, technically, a dromedary ride, through a wide gorge. Morocco doesn't actually have camels. What most people think are camels are actually dromedaries, with just one hump. Either way, it was a peaceful and surreal start to the adventure. The Berber people, also known as the Amazigh, are the indigenous people of North Africa, and they have lived in the Atlas Mountains for thousands of years. They have their own language, Tamazight, which has survived despite centuries of outside influence, from Arab rule to French and Spanish colonization. The Atlas Mountains are one of North Africa's most striking natural features, stretching for about 2,500 kilometers across Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. They act as a natural barrier between the Sahara Desert and the more fertile lands along the coast, creating a dramatic contrast in landscapes. The mountains are home to some of Morocco's highest peaks, including Mount Toubkal, which stands at 4,167 meters, 13,671 feet, making it the tallest mountain in North Africa. These peaks have shaped life in the region for thousands of years, providing water sources, fertile valleys, and shelter for Berber communities who have called this rugged terrain home for centuries. What makes Berber culture so unique is its deep connection to the land. Many Berber villages are still self-sufficient, relying on traditional farming and herding methods that have remained unchanged for centuries. The architecture of their homes is adapted to the mountain environment, simple but sturdy stone and mud brick houses designed to withstand the harsh climate. The history of the Atlas Mountains is just as fascinating as their landscape. These mountains were formed around 80 million years ago during the same geological shifts that created the Alps and the Himalayas. They have been the setting for countless historical events, from the migration of early Berber tribes to more recent struggles between local mountain communities and colonial powers. The Berbers have lived here since at least 3000 BCE, making them one of the oldest indigenous groups in North Africa. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Atlas Mountains is their diverse ecosystems. The lower slopes are covered with olive groves, citrus orchards, and argan trees, some of the world's rarest trees. As you climb higher, these give way to forests of cedar and pine, while the highest elevations remain snow-capped for much of the year. The region is also home to rare wildlife, including Barbary macaques, cuvieres, gazelles, and the endangered Atlas mountain leopard. From there, we continued deeper into the mountains, reaching the Imlil Valley, one of the most stunning regions in the High Atlas. Lush terraced gardens, fruit orchards, and winding trails painted a completely different picture from the arid plains below. We stopped for a glass of freshly brewed Moroccan mint tea, a symbol of hospitality in Berber culture, while taking in the valley's breathtaking views. Next, we set off on a scenic hike toward Ait Soka, a remote Berber village nestled in the mountains. The path took us past centuries-old irrigation channels and small stone houses built into the hillsides. It was incredible to see how life continues here, untouched by the rush of modern cities. The highlight? Being welcomed into a Berber family's home for lunch. We sat on floor cushions, sharing a traditional meal of tagine, fresh bread, and beautifully spiced vegetables. The warmth and generosity of our hosts made this more than just a meal. It was a moment of cultural connection. After lunch, we wandered through the village, with Mount Toubkal, North Africa's highest peak, looming in the background. The surrounding scenery was nothing short of spectacular: cascading waterfalls, a hidden alpine kasbah, and endless layers of mountains stretching toward the horizon. As the day wound down, we started our journey back to Marrakech. The golden hues of the setting sun cast a magical glow over the mountains, a perfect farewell to an incredible day. This wasn't just a sightseeing trip, it was an experience of Morocco's wild beauty, rich history, and deep-rooted culture. If you ever find yourself in Marrakech, I highly recommend escaping to the Atlas Mountains for a day. You won't regret it. Have you been to the Atlas Mountains? If so, I'd love to hear about your experience. Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like and subscribe for more adventures. Thanks for watching, and until next time, safe travels.